morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to take a look at a couple of Sanctum creatures that snuck their way out in the print and play Polish decks. Yeah. Over on the official FFG website, we have print and play decks in English, but they actually had print and play decks in Polish as well, and there were a few Sanctum creatures in there that snuck their way in that I've not seen anybody talking about yet, so I feel like that's probably where I should come in. And of course, apologies if these have been seen elsewhere. I've not seen them posted anywhere and I've not seen them translated, so my apologies if they have been. And just very quickly as we get rolling, I need to give a gigantic shout out here to Dominic Dabrowski, who did check my translations of these cards that I did with Google Translate and talk them through with me, because he's a lovely dude. So, let's start off with what I think is the coolest of these new cards, Angry Mob. Now, Angry Mob is a 4-power, 0-armor creature, and it reads, before fight, you may discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard Angry Mob or run out of cards in your deck. If you discard an Angry Mob in this way, put it into your hand. I mean, thematically, right, this is beautiful. You are literally playing a card called Angry Mob that allows you to get more copies of Angry Mob into your hand, so you are in fact building up an Angry Mob. Now, of course, I cannot tell you that this will always appear in multiples. We don't know how the algorithm works, and it's not a special rare, it is just an uncommon. Now, if anybody is wondering, the deck that included this card over in the print and play Polish decks actually does have 4 copies of this card. Clearly, if you've got 4 copies of it, it's going to get a lot better. Now, 4 power, 0 armor is not exactly terribly impressive. And similarly, this skill is fine, but I don't think it's game-breaking. I like the fact that you can get more creatures out, and certainly what this essentially lets you do is try and flood the board with creatures. Now, the other thing it does kind of nicely is it actually runs through your deck really quickly. So let's say, for argument's sake, if you've got cards in your discard that you want, but you can't get to because they're in your discard, but you know there's no Angry Mob left in your deck, before you fight, you basically discard your entire deck, and then you shuffle up your discard pile, and then that becomes your deck, and then those cards you didn't have access to, you do have access to again. I'm not loving this card, except for the theme. I'm loving it thematically. But I do like the fact you can run for your deck a little bit faster, which some decks will love. And I like the fact that you can get extra creatures out, bearing in mind, of course, as soon as you put it in your hand, you can play it straight away. So it's not like it's going to be clogging your hand for future turns. Not loving it, but certainly see some advantages. What I like a lot better is Lieutenant Gorvenal. Though to be clear, as much as I feel confident it is Lieutenant somebody, Gorvenal I don't know if it will carry over. 4 power, 1 armor, it's not bad. It's not terribly bulky, but it's not terrible. But when you finish battling a creature, capture 1 amber. Nice. Now, of course, you've got to survive the fight in order to do so, but we've already seen it's Sanctum, right? Firstly, you've got a little bit of built-in armor here, which is quite nice. Secondly, Sanctum are quite known for having their cards that protect you. I mean, we've seen things in the past like Shield of Justice and Hallowed Shield. They like their shields. Hallowed Shield, choose a creature. For the remainder of the turn, the chosen creature cannot be dealt damage. Shield of Justice, for the remainder of the turn, each friendly creature cannot be dealt damage. These are the kind of cards we see in Sanctum. They do like to give themselves immunity and shields and protection and all of that good stuff. So hopefully you'll have a card along those lines that you can use to help protect yourself, so you will stay alive just a little bit longer. And then you capture an amber. Now, of course, when you capture an amber, it isn't perfect, because your opponent can destroy you and then get the amber back. but it means they don't have it now. I mean, if you're looking, and Sanctum have been good at capturing Amber. Probably the gold standard has been Sir Marrow's, the 4-power 2-armor creature, and after your opponent gains Amber by reaping, Sir Marrow captures it. And the theory here is that, okay, they can destroy you and they can take that Amber back, but they've got to destroy you in order to take the Amber back. They cannot just get it back. And that's kind of the point here. In theory, you probably don't have this Amber for very long. You're capturing 1 a turn and your opponent can get it back next turn. You've only got 4 power, 1 armor. It ain't the beefiest creature ever. But it's a little bit of Amber control. And maybe this is what means your opponent goes down from 6 Amber to 5 Amber. And now all of a sudden they don't have enough Amber to forge a key. Or you combine this with a bunch of other cards to take your opponent down from 8 Amber to 5 Amber, and now all of a sudden your opponent isn't forging a key. My point is that although this might not be a spectacular card, it is a nice card for giving you a little bit of extra Amber control and making your opponent's job a little bit more difficult. Obviously, I would rather have Doorstep to Heaven. Each player with 6 or more Amber is reduced to 5. Obviously, I would. But that's not an option, unfortunately. Might not be in your deck anyway. And then we've got Baldric the Bold. Literally translated as Baldric Bold, but given the naming conventions we've seen from Sanctum so far, I think Baldric the Bold is probably what we should be looking at in terms of translations here. Like I say, I did have a chat to Dominic, who is a native Polish speaker, and he agreed with me that Baldric the Bold, given what it is in Polish and given the naming conventions we've seen from Sanctum, does sound about right. A 4-power, 2-armor creature. Now we're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. We've been building up the bulk all the way through the video. And before you fight, if the creature Baldric the Bold is fighting is the strongest enemy creature, you gain 2 Amber. Now, the fact that it is before fight is huge. Because the theory here is, with a fight skill, you must survive the fight in order for the skill to fire. If you are destroyed during the fight, if you fight somebody more powerful than yourself, you get destroyed. And the fight skill never comes out. What you get here is a skill that fires even if you get destroyed during the fight. And of course, you have to, because you've got to fight the most powerful creature. And that is the rub here, essentially. That is the downside, as it were. Because if you don't fight the most powerful enemy creature, you're not gaining the 2 Amber. Now, hopefully, of course, here, what you're trying to do is your opponent's most powerful creature is a 2-power creature. You fight it, you take it down, you gain 2 Amber, you do this turn after turn, and you've literally got a creature there gaining you 2 Amber every turn. Kind of like a perpetual Dusk Pixie, but, and this is extremely important, it doesn't work the turn you play it. And that means that you've got to be down for a turn before you can get this to fire. So there is every possibility here that you play this down and your opponent destroys it before you ever get a chance to use the skill. And there is every chance you play it down, use it once, get destroyed by your opponent's most powerful creature, and then that's it, you're done. And that's a little bit sad. But then again, there is gonna be games. Definitely going to be games where you get to use this dude every turn for 4 or 5 turns straight. And you gain 2 Amber every turn for 4 or 5 turns straight. I mean, frankly, if I end up with a 4-power, 2-armor creature that just once gets me 2 Amber, I'm probably going to be okay with that. I mean, it's not, again, Dust Pixie, the reason why Dust Pixie was so gosh darn good is because you had stuff like Nature's Call, whereby you could play down Dust Pixie, and then Nature's Call to pick it up, and hopefully you had a Hunting Witch, or you'd played a Full Moon, so you gained an extra Amber when you played it, and you could go a little bit nuts. This is not that. But also Dust Pixie was a 1-power, 0-armor creature with no elusive, no skirmish, and no skill, whereas this is a 4 power, 2 armor creature that if you can keep taking down weaker creatures, you can keep gaining 2 amber. Just remember, you do not have to take out the most powerful creature. But you only get the 2 amber if you do fight the most powerful creature. Maybe you can just use this to take out weaker creatures, using other things to take out the big creatures, and then jump in with this. That would work. But there's so much potential here. This is definitely my favourite of the 3 cards we've looked at in this video. So there we go, some new Sanctum creatures shown in Polish, translated into English. Shout out to Dominic Dabrowski one more time for help with the translation and for talking it through with me, and for being lovely. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these new cards, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Keyforge and a bunch of other games, and please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of fun stuff. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.